With the rise in popularity of comic books, trade paperbacks, graphic novels, tabletop games, television shows, movies, and multimedia conventions, there must be a reason for the rise of geek culture today.
Hi, I'm Brandon Berry. I play Jack Sparrow of the New England Brotherhood of Pirates. We're here at Rhode Island Comic Con. I want to say hello. That's a tough one. A geek to me is someone that's like really smart and likes the comic books and the video games and all the nerd kind of stuff. So I think they're all kind of the same, geek nerds. I'm not any of those.
And how does that make you feel when someone calls you?
Oh, how does it make me feel? It upsets me because I think geeks are smart. I'm not that smart. I'm a pirate. I consider myself more of a dork.
And how long have you been doing this?
I've been doing conventions for the last 10 years, and 5 years as
Dressing up like a pirate.
Halloween.
Halloween.
Right. Every year I did a Halloween themed costume with my family, and we did Pirates one year, and I'd never seen Pirates of the Caribbean yet, and then he was like, "Oh, you look like Jack Sparrow," and so then it just stuck.
Okay, you need to stop it right now. Just keep pressing. Second, it makes me go.
Actually, we'll be right behind.
Is it working?
Yes.
No, I know.
And the first question I want to ask you is, what does the word geek mean?
Geek to me means someone who just has an interest in an alternative form of pop culture, and
how does that make you feel when someone calls you?
I kind of like it because to me it shows that I have an interest in something, and I always find people with different interests or different passions for different things to be really interesting, and they're not boring in that way.
And how long have you been going through this?
This is my second year in third convention.
And what's your other hobby or interest when you're not?
I like art and sports for the most part, so I like making my own costume as a form of art.
How long have you been doing cosplay?
Just these 2 years for the most part.
The word geek to me means somebody who's interested in just more than one particular fandom. If you're into science fiction, horror, comics, fantasy, just anything. Geek can be encompassed by so many things, but it's not necessarily a bad thing, it's an awesome thing.
And how does that make you feel when someone calls you a geek?
I love when people call me a geek. It means I've have a lot of interest, a lot of hobbies. It's not a derogatory comment. I find it to be very flattering, and I love being the geek. Geek is the new cool.
And how long have you been attending Comic-Cons?
I've been going to Comic-Cons since I was about 11 years old. I've been vending at Comic-Cons for the last 10 years, and now I even own one.
Oh, wow. And why do you think people attend Comic-Cons?
I think people like to go to Comic-Cons because you can be yourself and be accepted by people who are into the same things you are and not have to worry about being made fun of or bullied or anything like that. You're among like-minded people that enjoy what you enjoy.
The Thor movie with the Hulk. I think it'll be cool. You think Hulk's gonna beat the crap out of you like it did in the last movie?
What does a geek mean to you?
Being a geek means that you can have fun going to a convention, seeing all these different people dressed up as superheroes. That's what it's all about being a geek. Just having fun with your imagination and all these different characters that people bring to life.
And if someone calls you a geek, how does that make you feel?
Makes me feel awesome. because being a geek isn't a bad thing at all. It's a good thing.
And do you have any other interests? And how long have you been going to conventions?
Almost 2 years now. So I've been doing it for almost 2 years.
And why do you think people attend conventions?
To have fun. That's why they like going to them. Everybody dresses up. It's like Halloween all year round. We all have
Internals, light panels. You see here, this is for his third leg to go up and down. You have his head, with all of his components, electrical, doors. And you can see this is the bearing that his head spins on. Someone who enjoys sci-fi, you know, and futuristic thoughts. I don't really paid any attention. I'm just going to do my thing, and I enjoy hanging out with people that don't mind trying new things. Oh, this is actually my first convention, so not very long. Something I've always been interested in, just it's only the 4th or 5th year for this one anyway.
Those are two.
Well, there's about a zillion definitions of that, but mine is it's someone who gets really obsessed with the details of things, especially the details of stories.
And when someone calls you a geek, how does that make you feel?
Like they've noticed that I get really obsessed with the details of stories, and they're correct.
And how long have you been going to conventions?
Well, this is my first Rhode Island Comic Con, but I've been going to conventions in Indiana since 2009.
And why do you think people go to conventions?
Because you can see other people being their coolest geeky selves, you can be your coolest geeky self and wear pretty much anything, you can meet up with people, you can go to events, you can just wander around being like, yes, this is my subculture and its area.
Culture has changed.
You know, there's been a lot of debate about this and that and politics, but I think the essentials are pretty much still the same. You know, there's more different kinds of people in some senses, but in another sense, they're all the same bunch of geeks.
Comics and pop culture and sci-fi and fantasy, and they love to like dress it, live it, be it, and they know everything about it. Just like me, I consider myself a geek. It makes me feel good. I love being called a geek because it means that I'm interesting, not boring, and that I have a really great hobby. So.
And how long have you been attending Comic Cons?
I've been attending Comic Cons for the past 4 years. I started back in 2012, and my friend Nancy actually got me.
Why do you think people attend Comic Cons?
I think people attend Comic Con because it's like a matter of like-minded people coming together and celebrating uniqueness and individuality, and just being able to like say I can be a geek and a nerd, and that is okay because society is always telling people that, oh God, you're wearing a costume, oh just grow up. No, stop being boring and annoying and get out of our face. How about that? And we're gonna do it whatever we want, however we want. There's not a damn thing you can do about it. Comic Con, Comic Con, Comic Con.
Word geek means to me family. Damn it, we're all geeks down inside.
And how does that make you feel when
It fills me with ultimate pride. There was a time where being a geek was an insulting thing, it was humiliating. Now the geeks have inherited the earth, is what it comes down to.
And how long?
I have been coming to these things since, oh God, when they were called sci-fi conventions, so it's been a while, pretty much it.
And why do you think people go to conventions?
Because this is where you can come and never be judged.
True.
This is what I call our mini Halloween, you know. Get dressed as whatever you want, nobody's going to judge you, and everyone loves it.
How was
I'm gonna use my creature die to get a squad of 1. I guess to me, I think it's someone who's like obsessive with like gaming and comic book like culture, and it's like knows all about it, and like the anime, like all the stuff like that has to do with comic books, cartoons, gaming. I guess it depends who it comes from, but for the most part, if someone were to call me a geek, I wouldn't really be offended. I've been playing for about 6 years.
And what do you do when you're not playing Magic?
When I'm not playing Magic, mainly hanging with friends.
People play Magic.
I think people play Magic because it's a good strategy game, and it's fun to play against your friends or against people you don't know. You get to meet people and make friends.
I don't mind it. I find it kind of endearing personally. I grew up as a geek, and they're the people I know and love, so it sort of means like family.
Were you into games before this?
Yeah, definitely. I kind of grew up. My dad's the owner of the shop, and Dungeons and Dragons, big time. I really like board games like Small World and Munchkin, and I've played MMOs like throughout my life. And I'm just getting into like HeroClix.
And what would you say is the most popular gaming community here?
Here, it's definitely HeroClix. A lot of young guys come in and play on our tables and buy from our stock, and we encourage that and tell them, whenever, come on in and play.
And what is your...
Definitely the HeroClix. We're going to start doing tournaments and stuff. Right now it's sort of casual play, and comic book readers for sure. That's some of my favorite stuff in the store, so the more people that come in and buy comics.
And what's the
most popular comic, I think, at the moment? There's some new titles from Image like Kill or Be Killed and Reborn that have been really popular, and then like the DC Rebirth stuff like Teen Titans, Batman Beyond, stuff like that. I mean, overall, any growth is good growth. I think more people at tournaments and at events would be amazing. Yeah, I mean, every time somebody leaves here with something, I'm super pumped.
And what would you say the age group is for the game communities?
I think the general age is like teenage, plus maybe 2 or 3 years on either side.
She you took it up back there. Her friend. There's a store that's open in Rockland.
Yeah, get ready, buddy.
Somebody who likes stuff that's considered geeky or nerdy. It could be computers, or it could be board games like D&D, or Munchkins and stuff like that. Collectibles.
And when someone calls...
I don't really mind because I've been raised as a geek and a nerd, but I guess it means somebody who's smart, but maybe some people might consider them weird, even though most people would probably consider them nerds and geeks nowadays, I think.
Popular game that people play.
I'd say here, HeroClix has really been like taking over this town, basically. All the people who come here have usually come back to buy more HeroClix, but there's always small groups of D&D going on and everything like that, any board game. Well, I think people come here basically because it's just a place to meet other people who are like-minded and like enjoy the same games as you or things like that.
And New York.
We felt that the local area and the kids needed something inspirational and something to create more community and maybe exposure to new ideas and new things that they could find an interest in, particularly artistic things. Yeah, I've been into gaming since I was a teenager, starting with Dungeons and Dragons. And we still carry that here in the store.
Oh, you do?
We don't have Dungeons and Dragons tournaments yet, but we do help people assemble gaming groups so that they can play on their own.
How does that make you feel?
I mean, I guess I take that in a neutral way, and I suppose they could sometimes mean it in a derogatory way, but in general, it just means that we're interested in some specific, usually pop culture thing, and you can only agree with it.
And
I think movie popularity has made it such that a lot more people are aware of superheroes and the names of superheroes. Superheroes have household names now, so it makes it so that pretty much everybody has a little bit of geek in them.
mm-hmm, right. And
And there's nothing he. Yeah. Oh, you're done. You're done.
Oh Lord.
Prepare for the battle stations. Oh, 4 damage. You're gone. So I have 3 hull left.
So how many hits got through?
2 of them did.
So you put those on your ship.
What? Sorry.
The first casualties have been drawn.
That was pretty good.
First blood.
Pretty good. Someone's going down to my battle station before I'm done here. Alright, so that's the first round.
Okay, that's the first round. Now,
And how does that make you feel when someone calls you a geek?
How does it make me feel?
Yeah.
I consider it a compliment.
And why do you think people come here to play Star Trek?
That's a good question. I mean, I heard about it from the Trek Talking, right? Isn't that where I heard about it? Trek Talking, and actually, originally I heard about it from Jim at ChaseCon, and it was something that sounded very interesting to me. I did a lot of checking into it online, and I found out that we were going to have that demo night tonight, and I said, well, I got to go because I got to learn how to play this game. But this is a cool place. This is a really cool place. I'm glad I discovered it.
Star Trek Attack.
This is my first night.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
And have you ever attended any Comic-Cons?
Oh yeah. Yep. I go to ChaseCon every time there's ChaseCon. Different comic conventions over the years. Albany Comic-Con. A lot of times I'll dress up as Obi-Wan Kenobi or a Star Trek character.
Mm-hmm. And one last question. What is your favorite Star Trek Attack Wing ship?
It sounds like Chang's Bird of Prey, although I don't have it yet.
Someone who's enthusiastic about something they're passionate about. To me, my dad's a geek. He doesn't like to admit it, but he loves peanuts and he loves baseball. You can be a fanatic about anything. It's kind of like with Nerdist. They say they even have a sports podcast now.
right. And
Never had one call me that because I usually hang out with the rest of them.
and what?
Attack Wing? I'd say anyone who knows Star Trek. I have a friend who I turned him on to Star Trek when I was 6.
Oh wow.
I'm sure he would have loved this game if we had known about it then. I'd say around 6 to old as you can be to enjoy.
And how long?
This was my first time tonight. I'd seen it before. I was like, man, that'd be cool to collect, but it's way out of my price range for my.
And
it's obviously fun. It's basic movements, and there can be infinite possibilities. It's when you have infinite possibilities. It's with a board game. It's even more freedom than you have in a video game.
And
If I got to play it, I'd have to say the one with that digital code sounded pretty good.
and have you attended any cons?
Only local ones, Vermont Comic Con and the ChaseCon and Infinity Con. Gaming, I started out gaming basic games every week with my parents. They grew out of it. We got into nerdier shows the last few years. I've watched some on my own. I got them into it, and then I met a friend through geocaching who does all this board gaming, and then I got into that.
And over the years.
We've gotten more diversity. We used to be the Star Trek versus Star Wars. We got everyone who's liking from Doctor Who to Star Trek to Stargate. We got everyone who's liking everything now. It's not just a versus like some of the older movies personified geek culture or pop culture. It's more combined.
Well, thank you. That's it. 5 grossing films of all time include number 1, Avatar, number 2, Titanic, number 3, Star Wars The Force Awakens, number 4, Jurassic World, and number 5, The Avengers. The number 1 comedy on CBS is The Big Bang Theory at about 14.24 million viewers. The number 1 drama on television, The Walking Dead, with about 17 million viewers. In tabletop games, Magic the Gathering stands out with a $250 million revenue that is only rising by about 182%. Dungeons and Dragons was recently inducted into the Toy Hall of Fame, where it joined Bicycles, Chex, G.I. Joe, Lego Bricks, Monopoly, and 56 other toys. Overall, North American dollar sales for comics, trade paperbacks, and magazines for 2016 is around $485.97 million. That's about a 2% raise year after year. On October 8th through 11th, New York City Comic Con, located at Jacob Javits Convention Center, had an attendance rate of 150,000 fans. San Diego Comic Con had an attendance rate of 167,000 fans, whereas Rhode Island Comic Con, held November 11th to 13th, 2016, had an estimated attendance of 60,000 fans. In the dealer's room, people purchased posters, comic books, unique items, t-shirts, plethora of other unique items, artwork, novels, cosplay, and don't forget to grab a picture. And comic book artists such as Rickard Bonk, Ian Scarlett from Sharknado, Christian Bauer of True Blood, Corey Feldman of the Lost Boys. Zach Galligan from the Lost Gremlins. Christine Loken from Terminator 3. And Weird Al Yankovic, a musician. Cosplay, the Ghostbusters. Hawk Girl. BB-8. Barf. Barf. Friday the 13th. Stormtrooper. Arrow. Lord of the Rings. Star Wars characters. And even Freddy Krueger. And yes, Darth Vader. Captain America. Star Trek. Genies. More Star Trek. Chewie. Batman and Captain America. More Star Trek characters. Thor. Oh my god, look, it's Jack Sparrow. He looks surprised. Pirates. The Batmobile. Other cars like Jurassic World. Herbie the Love Bug. The Back to the Future car. And yes, the flux capacitor is fluxing.
Things to so God when they were called sci-fi conventions. So it's been a while.
And what are you doing when you're not at the conventions?
Well, I'm sitting, I'm relaxing at home, usually listening to some Billy Joel.
I've seen The Exorcist about 167 times, and it keeps getting funnier every single time I say it. And everyone loves it.
How was being shrunk? How did that feel to you when you went to
Well,
that
it wasn't
office?
too bad. I got a little head. But no, anyway, seriously. You know, hey, a couple of little ibuprofen clear that right up.
Damn thing you can do about it. Comic-Con.
People that have done stuff for the movies or specialty stuff, so I'm really, screen accurate to the movies. So I mean, piece by piece, and then I lose stuff because you see me, I'm out there playing around with people, so stuff falls off and that. And now I'm kind of gearing up for Pirates 5.
Hey, and I love being the geek. Geek is the new cool.
There was a time where being a geek was an insulting thing, it was humiliating. Now the geeks have inherited the earth, is what it comes down to.
And
I played General Martok on Deep Space Nine, and this is how it goes. Oi, keles bublon, koi bube bu, yakba machba jeshuvi, se mokchu me over, masho manang, a machak cho, na bayan majagbo, Ko, Yakba Chethbez, Ezjoki, Dot, Bapumadi, Barek Mashatak, Omer Kamatu, Dot, Mao.